Piros's father opened this pharmacy in 1989. He took it over in 2003. Greece has more pharmacies per capita than any other country in the EU, and the pharmacies have a monopoly on the sale of over-the-counter drugs. They're one of the closed professions that the creditors would like to open up to competition. The pharmacists say this will result in thousands of job losses and a worse service for Greeks who are already vulnerable because of difficulties in the National Health Service.
You've been running your pharmacy for 12 years now,
12
I think.
years so far, yes.
Is it going to survive, or do you feel you can't carry on under these conditions?
I'm not very optimistic, but I think it's going to survive. But it depends, because this pharmacy is like middle from its turnover. It's like in the middle scale. So I think middle scale to upper scale pharmacies, they will survive. But from mid to lower scales, I don't think they can.
I mean, I've seen some projections that maybe 10, 11,000 pharmacies in Greece could go out of business.
Yeah, not 10, 11. My estimate, I think 3 to 4. I mean, it's going to be about half left.
But one of the big reforms that the creditors are pushing for specifically involves pharmacies. They want the sector to open up. They want lots of ordinary shops to be able to sell over-the-counter drugs. Mm-hmm. Is that a good thing? They say it will give Greek people more freedom.
First of all, more freedom on whatever they want to buy at any time they want to buy it. That means supermarkets which are open, I don't know, 12, 15 hours a day.
Sure.
That is one thing. But on the other hand, you need to, be aware of the health of the population. I mean, who's going to give those people in the supermarkets health directions on how they use and interaction with those over-the-counter drugs, but they still are drugs.
So we might lose that connection between, you as a neighbourhood pharmacist and people like Sandy, the people you know.
Exactly. And it's as a business, it's around about 20% of the turnover, the monthly turnover, those over-the-counter. And also, it gives a small business the opportunity of more customers to come in if you lose that 20%. Because they come in, they buy an over-the-counter drug, and maybe they will buy something else.
But if I was from the IMF and I said, Piros, let's face it, there are far too many pharmacies in Greece. This has been a protected industry for too long. Would you have some sympathy with that?
In a sense, yes. And I think all these pharmacies opened up between the period of maybe 97. Not all of them, but a lot of them, about 2,000 to 3,000 pharmacies opened up because of this economy bubble that bursted. So unfortunately, these 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 will close.
And the allegation, well, I'm sure there's some truth behind it, is that there was quite a lot of corruption in how pharmacy licenses were given out.
Corruption in how pharmacy licenses? I don't think so.
You didn't pay a bribe for your license?
No, I didn't pay a bribe for my license. Well, I inherited from my dad. I didn't inherit, but, I was given it from my father, who's a pensioner at the moment. So, I think it's all these licenses are legal. They exist because they're legal. Nobody paid off some public sector employee to buy it. There's a certain, legislations for it. 1 per 1,000 citizens. At the moment, that's the only one left. That's one pharmacy per 1,000 citizens. So if you divide Greece, one pharmacy license per 1,000 citizens, that's 10,000.
And generally that process happened above board, correctly?
Generally, yes. I mean, I don't know if 5 or 7% that it might have been corrupted, but generally, yes.
What do you think about the future now? I mean, it's been a turbulent few months for Greece.
Turbulent 5 years, but...
Turbulent 5 years. Are you passionate that this country should stay in the Eurozone?
I would be passionate if I was given a certain plan that the Troika, the IMF, this plan that they're proposing is actually going to work in the next 30 to 40 years. But
you don't believe in that plan?
I don't think so.
Biros, I think you have two very young children, 5 and 3 years old. Do you think that they will have a future in Greece, or might you be advising them when they get a little bit older to look abroad?
Quite possible. I don't know. It's 50-50. I don't know. We have to see. We have to see what's going to happen. I mean, my children are 3 and 5, so till they get 16, 17, 18, I don't know how this country is going to look like.
Countries like Germany that have lent Greece so much money, they have the right to ask for some tough reforms in return, don't they?
Of course they do, because this money that they lend us, and when we used it, I don't know if obviously not wisely, but we used it. So I understand that we need to pay it back, but the problem is that there is a humanitarian crisis at the moment in Greece. We're almost like 1.5 to 2 million unemployed people, and with these new measures, I think there's going to be more than that, 2.5, 3 million unemployed people. In a small country like this, it can't go on.
Yeah, I can see that you have a rapport with your customers. You seem to know everybody by name.
Well, basically, I'm born and bred. I was born just around the corner. They leave debts and they pay them at the end of the month when they get their pension. I don't think like a small chain or a supermarket will do that.
So sometimes somebody might come in here and say, Pira, sorry, I'm just going to have to pay you next week.
No, not next week, the end of the month.
The end of the month. And you let that happen?
30% of my customers, pensioners, 35, they do that.
They do that. And you allow that to happen?
I allow it, unfortunately. I mean,
this gets to the heart of the Greek crisis. The country is being dragged towards a more efficient market economy. This will bring more choice and hopefully less corruption and more opportunities. But it will also create a more impersonal Greece, where shop owners don't give credit to pensioners they've known for years. A colder Greece. And that is sad.